20 minutes to the top of the hour. Welcome back to the morning drill on this Thursday. We're being joined by Melissa Mann of Drakewell Museum and Park. Melissa, good to see you this morning. Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. It's good to see you guys.
Good to see you. It's been a little while.
I know, it has been a little while.
Yeah, our fault last time.
No, well, I think our educator, Sarah Goodman, came in February.
Yes.
I was in Harrisburg, so.
Yeah. Well, we had, I think, a technical glitch or something.
Yeah. Happens.
But it happens. Well, it's good to see you. Welcome back.
Thank you.
A lot going on. Of course, when you're here, we always ask you about the state budget, which, was looking like we were still going to be asking you about that. But, it's looking a little better.
I think it's going to be a conversational topic for a while.
So what do you know right now?
I know that when the line item vetoes happened in January, that for the Historical Museum Commission, we received our funding for what we call Keystone funding, which is for major projects, mostly historic preservation of buildings and facilities. So that money, so we were able at Drakewell to start working on our 15-16 maintenance projects, which had been held up. But the general operating funds were still up in the air, and those are working themselves out now that the governor is signing the budget.
So any threat of closing down, or you guys were able to maintain? We were able to maintain.
When there's a budget impasse, there's always that possibility. The Historical Museum Commission receives 0.06 of the entire state budget.
Oh, okay.
So it's a very slim amount of money. So we're already operating on a small budget statewide at all of our facilities. So there's always, whenever there's a little bit of rocking the boat, we get a little antsy. But no, we were, business as usual. Visitation was not affected at all.
Any increase in visitation because of weather this year?
Yes, actually, we did. We did for operating reasons, purely just based on operations. We closed except for weekends in January and February this year, which was different, just because visitation is normally very low during those months, and we lose money, which is not good business,
right?
Especially for a nonprofit. So we decided to change our hours, but with the mild winter, we did see an uptick in visitation during those 2 months on the weekends. And looking back at I looked back at 5 years of visitation numbers before we made that decision on the hours of operation, and the majority, I think 75% of the visitors that came during those months were coming on Saturdays and Sundays.
Wow.
So, and it seems to remain true. They're still coming on Saturdays and Sundays.
So what did you guys do during those months you were closed during the week?
Well, we do what we normally do in the winter, which is a lot of programming, setting up our next year's calendar of events. Making sure it's all solidified so that we can put it out and people can put things in their calendar.
I guess I don't want people to think, you just strolled in on a Saturday morning.
No. We're very busy. We're still working. There's still somebody there 7 days a week. No, we're still very busy. When the visitation season hits, we're very busy with visitors and school tours and giving just regular tours with folks who come to visit us in our kind of what we call the down period, which is when we have lower visitation. That's the time period when we can really hit the projects that we want to work on, do planning, revamp tours, do training with both staff and volunteers. So those are the types of things that we're doing in those months. Now we say it's our downtime, but I would say we're probably more busy in those months because we have to cram so much into such a short period of time.
And speaking of the school tours, we're into April, which means they're going to start coming in a month, aren't they?
They are. I think our first school tour is May 6th. and I believe it's Titusville Middle School.
Wow.
Yeah.
They're gonna,
all the
quite
6th graders are coming down to see us.
It's quite a trip.
Yeah.
All those happy, smiling faces trekking from half a mile away.
We very much enjoy May. It's a hectic, busy month for us, but it's one of the main things that we exist to do.
And you get a lot of volunteers to help, especially with those tours, right?
We couldn't do our school tour program without our volunteers.
Wow.
We
and
don't have enough staff.
Are you in need of volunteers? If somebody's listening to this and watching,
always, we are always in need of volunteers. You actually, and we tell folks when we're recruiting volunteers, you don't have to give tours. We have various areas in which you can volunteer if you want. If you like to garden, we have plenty of gardens that need weeding and taking care of. You could work the front desk, which is visitor service. You could give tours. You could, work in collections with our archival materials and work with our curator on those things. We have so many volunteer opportunities because we're such a large complex.
Wow, that sounds like a blast. We've got something for just
about everybody. And we have, if you're interested in pit hole and you want to volunteer at pit hole, we can do that as well. We have various sites.
Some of the maintenance things going on around the park, some of them are very visible.
They are.
Talk about that.
Well, now that we had our money released and we were prepared, and that was another thing we did over the winter was, the money will eventually be released. Let's be ready to hit the ground running when it comes in. And we were. And one of the things that popped up that wasn't on our radar was that we actually had to pull the well, the Drake well. That we had to pull the
replica.
The replica. We had
the untouchable around here.
We did. We had to pull the well. Now it's not a functioning well. It was cemented in the 50s. But we recirculate oil. It's a National Historic Landmark, so it is 69.5 feet deep. It has casing all the way down, and we recirculate oil through that system. There was a hole in our casing. We were taking on groundwater. So all of last season, the end of last season, when we pumped, we were pumping water, which was a good interpretation for us because this is what happens to wells.
Yeah.
The water in Pennsylvania is heavy in minerals and it eats away at the steel casing and so we aren't now. So we just finished actually last week pulling the well, replacing all the casing. And there was one hole in the casing about the size of your pinky. Wow. And it took on all of that water.
Holy cow.
And that's what, it's like having a functioning operating well. So we just finished replacing the casing. More well drilling out of Greenville did the work for us. Very great crew. Came in, big rig. But we also, another project with the replica was that we just finished re-siding the derrick portion of the replica.
I saw that when I've been out to visit.
So now when you come out, it hasn't been stained yet because we have to let the wood weather so it looks mismatched. So you can very much tell that it's new. But last year we did the roof. This year we re-sided the derrick. And, every 15 years or so we have to do that because it's built the way that it was built in 1859, so it's not built with treated lumber. It's not, so
this is rough cut lumber.
Right, this is rough cut lumber, and it deteriorates over time with the weather. So we have to watch the structural soundness of the building and make sure that we make the repairs so that it's safe for visitors, but still, replicates what was here in the 1850s and 60s.
And speaking of the namesake, Drake, he celebrated a big birthday.
We did
2 days ago.
Tuesday, it was Drake's birthday, the 29th. We actually celebrated on Tuesday because we were open to the public, but we also did our big celebration on Saturday, the 20th.
I saw the cake.
Yes.
I did. I saw the cake.
We have cake every year. I thought
you were going to say every day. Somebody's always bringing cake.
We would if we could, probably. We like cake. But no, we had cake.
Friend of Marie Antoinette.
Yes. And yes, we have cake every year for Drake's birthday. We invite we do it on a Saturday so visitors can come, and we try to have a special program. And this year our program was a special scavenger hunt of the interior exhibits, so that families could do together.
Wow!
I remember in years past the grand old gentleman would show up and do that. Does he do that anymore?
No. We currently don't have anybody who portrays Colonel Drake for us. Last year, Mrs. Drake came to the party.
Oh.
Yes, so we have somebody who does Mrs. Drake, but we don't have a colonel at the moment.
So if you're watching or listening...
If you're watching or listening and you have a desire to portray Colonel Drake...
and look good in the top hat.
And have the beard all summer long.
It would be tough to top Bob Archer, though.
It would be almost impossible to... Bob Archer is the quintessential Colonel Drake.
Yeah, absolutely. We're here with Melissa Mann. This is the Morning Drill on Stream Television and the Allegheny News Talk Sports Network. You mentioned school tours coming up. We're getting into the summer months, so talk about some of the events scheduled at the park over the next couple months.
We actually have a couple of really cool things coming up in April. I think folks will remember, from years past, our Heritage Lecture Series. We've renamed it and are calling it now the Petroleum Program Series. Because we do more than have somebody come in and give a lecture. Sometimes it's a demonstration. Sometimes it's music. So the lecture portion of that didn't really
I lecture my kids every night, and they can't stand it.
Exactly. It's not that inviting a word.
It's not, is it? But they make it sound like it. Right. Come and enjoy this lecture. I don't want to be lectured.
I know. It's not that exactly. And so we decided Petroleum Program Series. The installment in April, which is I believe it's on the 14th, is Paul Adamati's, who is, he's a writer. He is a volunteer at Drakewell. He's actually one of the co-editors of our annual Oilfield Journal. So he's got a lot of interest in petroleum history, and especially in this region. He's giving a talk on the people and their jobs, the driving forces of yes, that's Paul's book, of the early Pennsylvania oil industry. So he's really talking about the regular people and the jobs that they did.
He's a pretty serious guy when it comes to history, isn't he?
He is, yeah, but he's so entertaining.
Yeah.
He's so talented at being able to take the history and make it accessible for folks who aren't into scholarly history.
Yeah. Now he's very animated, and
absolutely.
He's so well versed about it that many times, he's telling this from memory, from kind of like off the shelf knowledge, and it comes off very well.
Yeah, and so he's giving our Petroleum Program Series on April 14th. And that starts at 6:30 at the Well. And then I'm very excited about this. I think we've discussed before, we do Something More Saturdays, which is the second Saturday of every month. And it's just, we try to give something extra with your visit on that day. This month's was Colonel Drake's birthday. You got cake if you came that day.
And again, it looked like a very nice cake.
It was a nice cake.
Jerry brought it out, didn't he?
Yeah. April 9th is our next Something More Saturday, and the theme is Civil War. Ooh. And the 150th Bucktails are coming over for that day, the volunteer reenactors for the 150th Pennsylvania Volunteer Infantry are coming over. They're going to do School of the Soldier. They're also going to pitch a tent, show you what it was like to be in an encampment during the Civil War. And then at 2 o'clock, there's going to be a special presentation by the Civil War surgeons, and they are going to reenact a field surgery.
Holy cow.
Yeah. So it's going to, if you are into Civil War, if you are not squeamish.
You like screaming.
I don't think there'll be as much, I hope not.
Okay. Bite down on this.
But if you are interested in medical history or Civil War history and kind of, don't mind that kind of goriness, I think it'll be something totally different than anything we've ever done Civil War War wise. So
that's fantastic.
I think it'll be really interesting. So those are that's on April 9th. It's 10 to 3, the whole program, but the Civil War surgeons, the surgery will be at 2 o'clock.
Sharp.
2 o'clock sharp. So those are kind of things that are coming up in April. Big events that we have planned this year. We will be having Wildcatter Day again out at Pit Hole. That's on June 4th. We are lining up musical acts, and we will again do our grounds tour, guided grounds tours, and other things that we've done out there every year. What else do we have going on? We have summer camp again this year in July. So anybody with children 4th through 6th grade who are looking for a day camp for their kids, we have that. Please contact us. We have plenty of information. This year, and the history camp is July 11th through the 15th. A new thing that we have this year is the Drakewell Marathon. Friends of Drakewell have taken over the marathon from Titusville Leisure Services. So we will be hosting the marathon on August 7th this year.
That's fantastic.
Boston qualifier. We're very excited about it. It's a great community event that we didn't, that the folks at Leisure Services and we didn't want to see go to the wayside.
That brought people from all over the world.
Brings people from all over the world, and I think more importantly, it brings the folks in Titusville and in the surrounding area together to put on an event, which I think is extremely important. So we're looking forward to that. It's on August 7th. Adam Peterson is acting as our race director again this year. So you'll be hearing in the coming month or so, you'll be hearing more from us on that. But we're excited for that. And then the 4th annual Drake Day Circus is this year. Yeah. And exciting, it's actually on Drake Day this year.
Oh, really?
Yes,
cool.
it's on August 27th. It falls on August 27th falls on a Saturday this year. So we're very excited about it. So we're working on improving that event. We're always working on improvements. Same crew. This year, the fortune teller will be back. We are adding a tightrope walker this year.
Wow.
So
I'll tell you what, that is an amazing day.
It is. It's an amazing event. It really is.
We're already saying our prayers for good weather. So,
so join in.
So we're
and the crew will actually get to go out to the Blue Canoe this year.
Yes. I think that's one of the main reasons why they keep agreeing to come. Last year they were so bummed last year when they came because we forgot to tell them ahead of time that the Blue Canoe was unavailable, and they came and they said, "What happened?"
It's been a long year.
Will they be back? And I said, "They'll be back." Yeah. So when we signed the contract this year, we let them know that they had reopened. Please make sure you come back. But no, they're a fantastic group of folks out of Detroit. Extremely talented, easy to work with. They have great ideas about how to, they come to us with ideas about how to improve our event.
Wow.
On their end of things, and really want to work with us. They're very much into trying to do what we're trying to accomplish, right, which is make Drakewell a community resource, somewhere where you can get educated, but you can also have fun.
Yeah, and they're fantastic with the audiences. I mean, it's wonderful.
Yeah, the interaction is wonderful.
Yeah, and we're currently working on upgrading the animal portions of our event for this year. So we'll have more on that in the coming months.
There you go. Well, talk to Phil Taylor at Grace Fellowship. When they do that live nativity, they get animals from all over the place. Yeah. I don't know where they find them, but they find them. Melissa, great to see you this morning.
You too. Thanks.
So much going on. How can folks get a hold of you?
Oh, well, they can call 827-2797, or they can visit us on our website, or we are on Facebook at Drakewell Museum. Everything you need to know about us is on Facebook.
Great. Real quick, Mark, what'd you learn today?
Wow. I learned a lot about this, what do they call it, physical therapy stuff. I'm going to try this BioFreeze stuff.
All right. Melissa, what did you learn today?
I learned that IPEG is expanding in Venango County, which is very exciting because they are, do the work with plastics, which is an important part of the Drakewell story. So
all right. Excellent.
About that.
Very good. Good to see you this morning. We'll see you back here tomorrow for the Friday edition of the Morning Drill. For Mark, Grant, I'm Luke. Have a wonderful Thursday, everybody. They call him a fool.